folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and we are back today looking at our kind of expansion for the forest zone that we're working on. What we are doing is kind of touching up the borders of this zone so that we can do a special project with it in the next couple of days. I figured we would just spend a little bit of time on this map over the next like 10 minutes or so. We'll do a real quick look at our sponsor and our QQ stuff that we've got going on soon, and then we'll come back and we'll do a couple of variants in some of our other maps. So let's get to work here. I turned the grid off just so that we could see the blend a little bit more. We should, in theory, if we have the grid back on, we only need 5 spaces in here, so pretty much everything from here over is okay. So let's come here, we'll do around 50% opacity, and we'll just kind of blend it a couple of times. Something like that. We just have to come back down. And most of this was already done because of the work that we did on the Wishing Well map, but I'll throw a couple of these in here. And we get like kind of that muddy look by doing the blend this way, so it looks nice. We don't have to do too much else up here, but we do know that we want to do a little bit more of a path, so we'll do that. Throw that in there. Actually, we'll just do kind of a light touch until we hit there. All right, so now what we need to do is add a couple of more trees in. This one over here is fine. We already did that. So pretty much the only thing we still have left to do in this map exists right about here, right? Like this is the only stuff that we need to add anything. So let's real quick, we're gonna grab one of these trees. Let's get a more robust, healthy looking tree over here. And we'll throw it off the screen there. And let's get one of these guys. The color pattern here I like a little bit more, but we'll blow up the size a smidge, and we'll get one of these sparse looking ones up here as well. All right, so now the next thing that we have to do is kind of fill in the gaps here with some brush. Now we already have this blue color that we can use for this area over here. Let's go back a little tiny bit. We're at 50. Let's do something like 35, give or take. And we're only doing this around these ones, right? We're doing these around the iron bark trees, I think we called them. We'll get the blue leaves and do them as well. And these ones we can do a couple more passes because we were trying to see these instead of blending them a little bit more. All right, so we got that one. Let's do the same thing here. So a little bit of kind of blending in between, and then certainly around the tree itself we'll have a little bit more. Same thing up here. Some of that's going to come away, so I'm going to take that back a smidge. I went a little too far with it. So that's fine. Right, because I really can't change anything left of the 5 mark. Because the original map I'm not going to change. Alright, so we got that. Let's grab a couple of these plants since they were up there anyway. One more over here. Let's grab these little guys. Now some of our like foresty maps we have, you know, it goes a lot crazier than this, but with what we're trying to do, I kind of am happy with like the level of density. Like we're not trying to go too crazy over here. the rest of the forest isn't like the super dense stuff that I do in some of my other maps. So I want to try and keep things a little bit consistent. Let's do another summer bush over here. And maybe another one over here too. Okay, and let's see, anything else that we really want to throw in there? I don't think we have to go too crazy. Things are looking pretty good. So if I zoom this out, obviously we're missing the original map up here, the singing stones. I don't think that I have that in my catalog, but we'll see, and we can kind of see how that blends in. My problem is I said catalog instead of me. Let's see. That's the forest link. That's the other stuff. Where's singing stones if we have it? I don't think we do, and that's okay. We don't need to have that in everything we're working on. Oh wait, we do. Cool. Alright, so let's snap this to the grid and throw this up there and zoom it out and bring it back. We're bringing it back. Alright, so right around there. The grid obviously is a little bit problematic, but so yeah, you can see it kind of it's a nice blend throughout the forest, so it's going to end up looking nice, nicer than that for sure. So let's do one more save, and let's head over to our sponsor spot. And now, a word from our sponsors. The Old Ant Mythopia is sure to be unlike anything you have ever read or experienced before. Author No Originality intends for it to be something that is interpreted differently by each person who flips through its pages. Is it a new age set of fables to rival Aesop? Perhaps it's just a series of Easter eggs for those who like gaming culture. Or maybe it is a recommendation on how to live one's life. While the book itself is full of possibilities and open to interpretation, one thing isn't: the passion with which No Originality built out the project. A team of great artists came together to make the Old Ant Mythopia, and it shows. It takes a tremendous amount of talent to manage talent, and to bring a vision to life, and No Originality pulled it off wonderfully. Check out our promo for the Old Ant Mythopia, an incomplete trilogy, on the Tellest website. Alrighty, so we are back. I don't think that we actually looked at this during our partner showcase, so I figure we'll look at it now. This is a Desert Ruins entrance that Nightly Lore Maiden has worked on for us. One of the things that I try and do, in all my maps, of course, is to make sure that there's 4 points of interest going on. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on here, but it's just kind of like natural occurrences and stuff like that. So what we might end up doing is the very first quote-unquote variant of this will be like a more POIs variant. So let's real quick do a clone. Okay. Excuse me. And I figure what we'll do is we'll kind of identify the POIs that we have. So we'll consider the entrance itself as one POI. I think we usually do capital Roman numerals because the font choice is not great. And then this will be our little second POI, which is going to be POI2 small camp. You guys need to be moved up a layer or two. What is going on here? let's put like a submerged item. Okay, and then we need another object somewhere. And I feel like we've got everything on like the ground level, so let's maybe put something on one of these. We got like a lot of empty space down here. This is kind of more packed in. So let's do we'll figure that out as we go. That's kind of the whole point. I am a little bit concerned that this is getting stuck in whatever is going on there. I don't know what's causing that little blip. It's just that tree pretty much. It's just top layer stuff. Ah, all right. She put a little bit of sand in the top layer, and that's why it's coming up over the over top of that. So here's the thing. When I do another filter later on, if I come here and do, say we're going to do a night version of this, the filter, I believe, yeah, you can see the sand actually kind of shows up over top of the filter. So let's real quick, we're going to take that away. It's going to be another real quick save. The POI version is kind of going to be the normal one. And then we'll do the standard version as the variant. So this will be the one that people get when they're doing the Patreon at the cheapest level. Well, free is the cheapest level you can get, but you know, the high res one will have this kind of stuff. So what we're going to try and do real quick, we'll see if we can move this to the custom layers feature. And I'm hoping that what it's going to do is throw the top layer into like its own layer over here, right? So like in theory, I can turn that off and there's no problems. If I add a layer, I can add a filter layer, throw night in there again, and now you can see those kind of brushings of sand. They're not brighter than the filter itself. So if I have this filter, I could decide I want to have it, you know, under that, but the new feature makes it so that you can tweak these things in a much nicer way. Let's also, since we're here, we'll add another filter layer. We'll do the God rays. And the God rays has to be over the night filter. And let's see, can I configure that at all? We've got the stretch and repeat. Let's see if we can't look at some. There we go. I feel like, so we've got the normal that's, you know, kind of like a yellowy color. No, it looks like it's the same either way. There you go. The screen looks a little bit more white moonlighty. So we might do something like that. You can't do the repeat because, well, I guess you can kind of pull it off on this map. Let's try one more time to switch to a stretch. I feel like the stretch serves our purposes better. So screen is good. I don't really need to do anything there. Right. Oh, I kind of like color dodge even more. Okay, so let's keep it like that for now, and let's turn off the God rays and night. We'll keep that separate. But let's figure our stuff out. So we know that the, where do you guys live? Live in the object layer. I wonder if in the new set, you can create your own. Nope, you need to make a separate one. So we're going to add object layer 4. We'll keep that here, and let's go back one more time. And here's how you move to a different layer. So you can say I'm going to move it to layer 4. So now it's all text objects. I can just hit hide layer, and it all goes away. So that's pretty nice. So we definitely don't need anything for the POI ruins entrance. So that one we can hide. The small camp. Let's hide that real quick too. I feel like we don't really need to do anything too crazy here. They've got a map. They've got their tools. They've got their little tents. They've got some other. Let's see. Maybe there's some other stuff that we can get out of the desert for them. And if we can't find anything that fits, I won't feel super bad. So we're gonna look for some tools. We got some shovels and stuff, but let's try and see. Let's throw this on here. What in the deuce is happening? Did I just do the sub layer? I didn't actually do the stamp scale. That's okay. All right, so we're going to throw the protractor there. And then over here, let's do the mallet. All right, maybe we're not doing the mallet there. We'll do it on the object layer. There we go. And what I was thinking was, kind of need like a brush, right? Like if you're going down here, you're going with like a brush and a chisel almost. Some light tools. So let's try and find one of these guys. We've got farmsteads and harvest. Gonna rake it and stuff like that. But I think what we need is an artisan brush. These paintbrushes are a little bit more along the lines of what we're looking for. And the kind of nice thing is, like, the sand kind of obscures it a little bit. Let's see if there's a chisel anywhere. Got some wood chisels. Let's use the narrow one of these. Put it right in between the mallet and the paintbrush. Some people might think it's a knife. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is try and figure out what these submerged items are, or item, which, as you know, I like to do. I like to throw that stuff in there. Let's also, since we learned how to do this in the other one, let's try and see if we can't do another brush layer. We're going to put it underneath the background. And we'll rename it Underpond. And let's go to our brushes. We're going to go into our textures. And I think you can put alpha. So we've got, I think we used the rocks for the covered bridge. But let's see if we can't find some other stuff that we can use. We've got these rocks. Let's do, in advanced settings, we'll do the texture scale down to, oh, we can do 30 and we can see if that looks right. So, right, we shouldn't really be able to see anything just yet. But if we come into the background layer now and we go up to erase. Now right now we're just doing full opacity, right? So it's not doing quite what we want it to. But if we mess with the opacity, and do this a couple of times, we might be able to see some of those rocks come through. I don't really think that it does exactly what we want to because those rocks are huge. Let's try and do something a little different real quick. I went too far. So we're going to go back to the underpond. We're going to go back to the texture. Let's do one more thing. We're going to add one more layer, one more brush layer, and we're going to do, we'll just call it underpond 2 if we have to. So we've got, I'll come back to that later. Let's look in the desert set and see what else we got. We got sand and a rocky desert. I think if you look, you can actually see this is just this without the sand. No, I'm sorry. This is just this without the sand. Let's go and do... let's see. How do I want to pull this off? Let's do this. Put the opacity all the way up. And then we'll test on the regular background level. Now if we erase, yeah, we're seeing all that kind of muddy look, right? So in theory, if we really wanted to, we could say that there's a drought, and this could be one of our variants. Pretty cool, actually. But what we're going to do is we're going to come to the underpond one more time. We're going to go to our textures. We're going to go to our rocks. We were doing 30 before. Let's try and shrink this down. So we'll do the rocks like that. And now we're doing the texture again. So we'll throw that in there. Now one more time, let's head back to the background. Go to erase. We've got the opacity all the way down. So now you can see they're pretty rocky. We're not going to use it like that, but I was going to try and test. You can get rid of that. So when it is time to do our drought map, we can do that without any problems. So anyway, one other thing that I wanted to try and do real quick was with the underpond layer. See if we can actually do... So you can mess with the opacity of that layer itself. I was going to see if like we could really quickly just color it itself. You can do some blend modes, but you don't necessarily have to. Let's keep stepping things back. A little bit further. All right, so that should be good. That should have everything that we need to. We're going to go back to the brush layer. We're on the background. We're going to go to erase again, and we're going to do a couple of passes with the opacity, assuming we're not going too far here. Just want to see some rocks in there. And now you can actually see it. You can see there's some shape down there. And we can still come in here and we can still mess with the layer options. So I can come in here and I can play with this. So I don't really want it to look white. You know, like when we're coming in here and it looks gray, that's not really the color scheme that I'm looking for, but the multiply looks really nice. And let's see what else we can do. The color dodge looks okay as well. A lot of possibilities here as far as playing around and seeing what we can pull off. Luminosity is not bad either, but I think color burn, multiply, is the one that I like. And maybe what we'll do is also come into here and do a little bit of an opacity shift as well. Like maybe bring it to like 75%. So again, you go from, not that there was anything wrong with what we originally had, which again, we'll come in here and we'll go into the texture. We'll go in here and we'll just completely throw it back in just so that you can see what it looks like. And obviously I'm getting a little muddy there because I'm going into, you know, that and everything. Nothing wrong with the way that that looks. There's just something a little cool about doing that style now. So we'll do that. But we still need an actual item. So what we can do is we're going to add one more object layer here. And we're going to throw that under the background, but over the underpond and the underpond foundation. So it should land somewhere in between here. So let's see. Ooh, I don't want to throw an entire dune in there. Just for giggles. Perfect. I didn't have to do anything. It's just ready for me because it is sandwiched in between these two layers. And the background layer that we've already worked with is, it's configured in such a way where the it's semi-transparent already. So we're not going to do anything with the tools there. We could, but I don't think that we're going to. So let's see what other things that we can do here. Let's see. We could do like a statue. We could do a sarcophagus. I kind of like the idea of throwing a sarcophagus down here. You know, like it could be someone was ransacked from whatever temple is over here and they were drowned there. Well, not drowned, but, you know, they're thrown there to make fun of whatever happened. Or it could be, you know, part of a puzzle. And it's obscure enough where you don't really see it. So I'm happy with that. I'll figure out what the final point of interest is off stream, but I'm very happy with what we got here. Let's I won't show off the QQ stuff because I don't think that's coming next week, so we still have a little bit of time. Let's save that though, and then we're going to go into our show closing screen. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start, but there's a couple of other places that you can look online to find our content as well. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can go to find all of our maps at the cheapest price you can get. You can find the maps free. They're low res and they're watermarked, but you step up to the $5 level and you're getting high res and low res. High res gridded and gridless versions of our maps, and I think at this point we're up to like 175. Our Etsy store has physical maps, but not quite yet. We are working on pivoting based on what you saw earlier in today's stream, and we're hoping that we're going to be getting our mouse pads back soon, but nothing is set in stone yet. The Drive-Thru RPG store, you can reach our site, like our profile there, at battlemapfantasy.com. And that'll bring you to an a la carte, you know, set of our maps. So if you only want one or two of our maps, you can get them for a pretty cheap price. And always make sure to look out for sales and stuff like that when we have them. We have two TikTok channels. TikTok.com/@TalesOfTellest is where you can go to see our pups. They're always doing something funny. Rihanna puts up like a video a day. So definitely be sure to check that out. And she is going to be putting a lot more effort into TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands. That is where all of her crafted goodies are going to go, in addition to the handcrafted one-of-a-kind magic wands. And then we got two other places for you to check out. YouTube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you are going to be able to see all of our footage after it's dropped from the Twitch platform, after however many requisite days or whatever. But twitch.tv/thattellestguy is the only place where you can come check us out live, chat with us, give us ideas, get ideas from us, that kind of stuff. It's just a good place to stop by, and we'll be integrating some other stuff soon. So definitely be sure to check us out from time to time. But that's going to wrap us up for today. We will be off Thursday and Friday for the streams, but we will be back on Monday with Talking Tellest. Until then, we'll see you.